In the dead of winter, 1862, the nuns of Mount Calvary vanished. 43 women gone overnight without a trace. No townsfolk searched, no law was summoned, and the church remained silent. The official word was divine ascension, a holy calling beyond worldly comprehension. But whispers in the nearby villages spoke of screams in the wind and shadows behind chapel windows. For decades, the truth lay buried in sealed Vatican archives, spoken only in hushed tones. Tonight, we break the silence to unveil the horror behind the myth of the vanished sisters. Mount Calvary Convent rose from the frozen Vermont wilderness in 1860, gifted by Cornelius Blackwood. It wasn't a place of charity or teaching. It was designed for a singular purpose: spiritual purification through divine suffering. Granite walls sealed away the world, creating a cloister of silence and control. At its helm was Mother Catherine Montrose, a French nun obsessed with sacred agony and the theology of pain. The church backed her vision, entrusting her with hand-picked sisters, eager, devout, and young. The convent was never meant to nurture, but to break and reshape souls. By year's end, sisters from Boston, Salem, and Providence arrived one by one, drawn by faith and fervor. They were young women of pious discipline, selected for their willingness to suffer for salvation. Among them was Sister Margaret Donnelly, whose letter to her sister spoke of strange prayers and a calling beyond words. Locals never saw the sisters beyond convent gates. Only Brother Thomas came, the silent man, monthly for morphine, bandages, and nails. Townsfolk asked questions. He gave no answers. "The sisters are healing," he whispered once. No one asked again. Whispers grew louder when a merchant, lost in a storm, was given refuge for one night. He reported hearing soft moans, not prayers, from beneath the floorboards. "They're practicing devotion," the nun had said, but her eyes told a different tale. Dr. Morrison, the county physician, was summoned only once. What he saw was a woman with precise, symmetrical wounds in her hands and feet. "She bears the stigmata," claimed Mother Catherine. He knew better. They were man-made. He left shaken and warned never to return. He never did. Sister Anne Ashford used to write home weekly. Then the letters stopped. Her family wrote the bishop. No reply. When Mr. Ashford traveled to the convent, he was told Anne had transcended communication. One by one, families wrote letters, made visits, filed complaints. Each time the same response came back: "Your daughter is on a divine path. Let her walk alone." For the church, the silence was part of the ritual. For the families, it was the beginning of dread. Something holy was being used to cloak something monstrous. Years later, hidden beneath the altar, journals were found, written by Mother Catherine herself. Inside, she detailed the 7 stages of divine union. Stage 1, nails in the hands and feet. Stage 2, a crown of actual thorns. Stage 3, flagellation until unconsciousness. Stage 4, fasting to the brink of death. Stage 5, crucifixion on wooden beams. Stage 6, being buried alive for 3 days. And stage 7, perfect union, a final death by Catherine's hand, followed by burial beneath the altar. It wasn't sainthood, it was slaughter.
Sister Margaret's name appeared in every stage. Her last journal entry, found in her coffin, read, "I hear him now. The silence of the earth is the voice of God." She was buried breathing. Soil found in her lungs proved it. Catherine's final entry revealed her despair. She had orchestrated divine ascension, but couldn't ascend herself. She attempted all 7 stages on her own body. Workers found her crucified in the chapel, still clinging to her rosary, eyes open, mouth frozen in ecstasy. Even in death, her faith remained warped beyond recognition. Brother Thomas reported her death, but not to the police, to the diocese. Within days, a cleanup team arrived. The altar chamber was sealed, the journals taken, the land deed reassigned. The Vatican fabricated a story. The sisters had left for missionary work among native tribes. Letters were forged, explaining joyful silence and devotion. Parents wept at the news, unaware their daughters lay entombed beneath stone. Those who probed too deep, journalists, detectives, priests, vanished. In 1923, a lumber company purchased the land. During demolition, a hammer cracked through the chapel floor. Below it, 43 coffins, perfectly aligned. A brass plate on each one bore a name. The police called in Dr. Edmund Morrison, son of the original doctor. His report stunned the nation. Crucifixion wounds, malnourishment, skull fractures, and lung dirt, proving premature burial. Alongside the remains were the instruments of pain and journals detailing every death. Headlines exploded. Vermont's Vatican massacre. But the church denied, deflected, and distanced itself.
The Vermont State Commission called over 200 witnesses. Bishop O'Malley, old and frail, broke down in court. "Yes," he whispered, "I knew." His confession rocked the nation, but by then it was too late. No one remained to prosecute. Catherine was dead, her collaborators gone. The Vatican claimed the evidence was anti-Catholic propaganda, but handwriting experts confirmed every line. Forensics confirmed every wound. The church moved on, but the world had changed. The case became America's first reckoning with institutional religious abuse. In 1926, a granite memorial was placed at the site. Today, the forest is still, but not quiet. Visitors report incense on the breeze, footsteps behind them, whispers in Latin. Paranormal investigators have recorded chanting, shadows that vanish, and candles that relight themselves. But the real ghost is history, a reminder that doctrine, if left unchallenged, can become a weapon. The names carved in stone remind us of women who died not for God, but for the twisted beliefs of those who claimed to speak for him. What happened at Mount Calvary was hidden, denied, and buried, but it was not forgotten. The truth clawed its way back through records, whispers, and finally, justice in memory. The Sisters of Mount Calvary did not die in holiness. They were murdered by faith gone mad. Their story is not one of sainthood, but of silence broken, of wounds exposed to light. And as the bells toll once more across Vermont's frozen hills, one message echoes clear: never again. The faithful must question, challenge, and protect. The horror was real. The lesson must be remembered.